The Shepnaz Podcast begins now.
Welcome to the Shepnaz Podcast. I'm Joe, and I'm your host today. Hope you had a good weekend. And now we are back into taking a look at some of the spiritual gifts. Pastor Rob's in with us. And before we jump in, I know this past week you've been working very hard down in Logan. I can tell by your shirt that you've been all dressed up for
You can potentially
hockey.
smell me also.
Well, we don't have that technology
Right.
yet for them to
Not
do
yet.
like a scratch and
Lucky
sniff
for
podcast.
everybody. Lucky for everybody.
But you've been down at Hocking Hills Retreat Center.
Yeah.
You want to give us a quick little update on that before we dig in?
Yeah, so we are, we have a vision to really just develop a world-class camp down there. And so we're in the process of building 8 cabins and 2 shower houses to expand our ability to have lodging there. Trying to put in a lake and a high ropes adventure course, and then another lodge and cafeteria and gym, kind of multi-purpose building thing. So we can have hundreds of kids down there doing summer camp and retreats on the weekend. And so it's coming together. We're right now trying to get 4 of the cabins together and the shower house operable by I'm hoping by the end of July, maybe middle of July. By camp meeting, it's like sometime in the 2nd or 3rd week of July. So that's the goal, and we're hoping to do that. So the challenge has been the roof. It's a 12-12 pitch. If you know anything about that, it's like
A 45-degree angle.
it's ridiculous. There's no way you can stand on it. It's like a slide. And so we have acquired the services of some Amish folks to help us out. And so it's gonna come along really quick now. So, but yeah, it's going great. And you were down there helping us out. So we were framing a cabin today, actually. So a lot of fun.
And there are some times coming up available. In fact, I think there's a week or something in June or whatever
Yeah, we have
people can sign up for.
A week in May and a week in June. And I'll get those dates and we can put them in the show notes because I don't have them off the top of my head.
No problem.
But actually, I might be able to look it up on my calendar here. Yeah, we do have it. It's in May. It is in May. I'll get those dates to you.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. As we're getting back into the spiritual gifts, we wanted to cover a couple more of those.
Yeah.
And the first one you were going to take a look at is helps/service.
Yeah.
And tell us what that gift is, if you would.
It's a good segue from the camp to this.
Yeah, there you go.
If you have that gift, we can really use your help. Or craftsmanship.
Yeah. Or creative communication.
Yeah. Or you just like to work. So the definition of helps is the distinctive ability to work with and support other Christians' ministry efforts. And so a person with the gift of helps is this doesn't mean they don't have vision, but they find some fulfillment in knowing that there's a vision that's out there, there's a project that needs to be done, and coming alongside somebody and serving with them and helping get that project done. A lot of times someone with the gift of helps doesn't mind serving behind the scenes and working wherever needed. They don't need to be in the spotlight or up front or anything like that. They're happy to do whatever needs to be done and support the gifts and ministries of other people. And they find a lot of joy in tangible and practical things that need to be done, and they enjoy doing them, where some people may not like doing some of the tasks that need to be done. Other people are like, I don't need to decide where we're going. I don't just need to decide what the project is, but you have this figured out and this needs to be done. I'm happy to do it. And so that's that. They also, if you have this gift, it's a gigantic help to others. But also when you're doing this, you really sense God's purpose and pleasure in your life by using your skills and abilities or whatever it is to help push the vision forward by getting these kinds of things done. And it's really important to know that if you have this gift, that what you do is has spiritual value. It's not like you're just doing things.
Right.
It's an act of worship, really, because you're doing what God has gifted you to do. And there are a lot of things that would never happen if it wasn't for people who had the gift of helps and services to come along and make them happen. Because some people are really good at making plans, but they don't know they can't They don't have the time, they don't have the resources or the ability or whatever to carry it out. So person with a gift of helps and services is really, really good. And the other thing is that they're going to find a lot of satisfaction in knowing that they're freeing up other people to do what God has called them to do.
Right.
And so it's again, and you'll see this with all the gifts, is that it's just a team thing. Like not everybody, one person can't do everything. And if everybody does their thing, then everything gets covered. And we were talking about this in the last episode, the survey that everybody took in the church.
Sure.
We were able to see, how many people had certain gifts or whatever. Every gift, every one of the 23 gifts is operable in our church. Every one of them. Some have more people in them than others, but every single gift was present in a primary way, not just a secondary way. And so that's super exciting to me. What it says is that God has put together a church to accomplish everything that needs to be done.
Yeah,
And-
you see a picture of the body of Christ, really,
Oh,
when
yeah.
you realize
Yeah.
that this, and of course, Shepherd as our individual body, but we're also a part of a bigger body
Right.
Of the church, not only of the Nazarene church, but the church as a whole.
Yeah, capital C church.
But this particular gift, helps in service, like for me, I knew, at home, of course, we're all taking the test and we're bouncing off of each other. Like, what do you think mine were? And when Susan took her test, she's like, so what are yours? I was like, your top one is helps and service. There is no doubt in my mind. And she
Yeah.
was actually, that's what it ended up being.
Yours?
No, hers is helps and service.
Yeah.
I'm not nearly that helpful.
No, I think you are, but
But in general, I would say a lot of our volunteers in tech, that their helps are way up
Yeah.
there. But with her, I think, and this is kind of, and I had a similar conversation with Natalie. We were in the control room. She was working on some stuff on the computer, and she was talking about her gifts, and she was kind of surprised, and so was Susan. That they didn't see administration on, as one of their top ones, because now it's like, well, I'm an administrative assistant. You would think that administration would be, and of course, Susan's been in positions of quote unquote managerial, administration.
Right.
But I was like, no, that makes perfect sense. If you're looking from the biblical perspective of what service and helps is, where you are doing those things that are enabling the ministry to move forward, but you're in many ways sometimes taking a backseat role in order to make that happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, that actually perfectly describes both of those people.
Yep, it does.
And so sometimes we might be first put off a little bit just by the label because we don't realize what the explanation is, and it's kind of why we're going through each one of these to really understand what they are.
Yeah, it's good. And so Natalie, Susan, Noah also on staff has that gift, and you can just see him. He's willing to jump in and pick up anything, whatever, and help. And often I've already heard him say multiple times, "What do you need me to do? What can I do?" And that's kind of a phrase of somebody who has that gift. It's like, what can I do to help out? One of the dangers of this gift, however, is that you find it difficult to say no to people. And so if you have this gift, you're like, oh, I want to help out. Sure. And if you could easily get overextended. So it's important to make sure that you maintain some balance in your life and not just say yes to everything, because then you can't, you're not doing a good job for all the things that you're doing, and it ends up not being as effective. And so that's a really important thing to remember. But yeah, it's a huge gift, very important. And this gift can serve in practically any ministry, anywhere, because there's always stuff to be done. And it's kind of like a task-driven ministry. And it's not my primary gift, but I love the idea of checking something off of the list.
Yeah.
It's like something needs to be done. It's like, oh, it just feels so good to check that off and say that's done. And that's kind of the focus of this gift is that it's the things that need to be done. What do I need to do? What can I do to help to do it and check it off? And then for a leader who's like trying to do some other things, it's like to have people come along and say, yeah, that this needs done, and to have it done is just huge. And again, it's the whole big teamwork thing.
At Shepherd, we truly value the opportunity for spiritual growth on a daily basis. Of course, we have worship and teaching during our Sunday services, but it doesn't stop there. For over a year now, we've had the Shepnaz podcast each weekday, and now we want to add more tools to your tool belt. Each week, as we post the Sunday message online, you will find not only the message notes from Sunday with the blanks filled in, but you will also find a 5-day devotional, a small group leader guide, and a parent guide to help relate Sunday's message to your family. Visit shepnaz.org/engage to learn more.
No.
All right, so go ahead and introduce our next gift that we're going to look into.
Yeah, the next gift is the gift of hospitality, and it is the divine ability to make people feel at home, to make them feel welcome or cared for, and a part of the group. If you have the gift of hospitality, you're probably a people person. You're probably don't mind jumping out there and meeting new people, and making people feel at home and at welcome. And so one of the things that you do is you provide an environment where people feel valued and cared for. And so it's task driven, but it's focused on people and making them feel like they're welcome, they matter, they're important. And when you do that, then people are able to hear the gospel way better, right?
Sure.
And so, you meet new people, create a safe and comfortable setting where relationships can develop. Another thing, if you have the gift of hospitality, you're probably helping other people meet people. You might say, "Hey, Joe, come over here and meet Sarah or whatever," and you connect people and help them to know each other. Maybe they have things in commons, and you're just because you're so outgoing, you're able to make other people just feel at ease in an unfamiliar surrounding. So it's a really, really good gift. You're probably, if you have this gift, you're probably friendly, gracious, inviting, trusting, caring, responsive, and warm. You just like people, and people like being around you, that you put them at ease. And the person that comes to my mind in this with this gift is when Jesus visited the home of Lazarus, Mary and Martha. Martha had the gift of hospitality, but she got so focused on it that she forgot about the people, right? And it's all about the relationships. And so she was very interested in making sure that Jesus had everything he needed and the disciples had everything they needed. She got mad at Mary for not helping because Mary was more interested in listening to Jesus. But one thing a couple of cautions, each of these gifts kind of have some cautions, and you can find this list on the app or on the website. But you should avoid viewing your gift as just entertaining people, because if you use the gift of hospitality right, you're setting them at ease and creating an environment where people can hear the gospel, especially in a church setting, where new people come into the church, and they're like, I don't know anybody. It's a huge step for them to meet a friendly face, someone shake their hand, someone say, hey, let me show you around. Here's where you can go to check your kids in. Here's where the sanctuary is. Here's where the bathroom is. Introducing them to people who are maybe their age, talking to them about opportunities. It just sets them at ease. So it's a huge thing to help new people feel good. And the other caution is sometimes if you have the gift of hospitality, you don't mind inviting people into your home and making them feel welcome. Monica has this gift, and she's great at
and that's a great pleasure to you, right?
it is. But she's very good at. She loves to entertain and bring people in and just hang out with them and that kind of stuff. And I don't mind that. But if you have the gift, you should be cautious of other people in your home who may not appreciate having new people in their house all the time. And so just one of those things again, but it's huge. And again, every ministry in our church can use this. You think about children and teenagers and adults and small groups and basketball program, Sunday mornings, anytime people gather together that there could be a new person, this gift of hospitality is huge.
Well, and I think that's sometimes there, like you said, there's a danger of kind of minimizing it in your head, like this is just not that big of a thing. But, one of my very first memories of coming to Shepherd here is walking through the front doors and was immediately greeted by Steve Grove. And it was a genuine, just, I want to meet you. And I haven't seen his results. I don't know what they are, but I'm guessing that he has got the gift of hospitality. And if he didn't get that on his score, he should probably retake the test. But
that is encouraging because he's for sure.
You know, Steve is one of those people that when you talk to him, like, he is fully engaged. He cares about what you're saying. He's listening, and like, you can tell that brings him joy to be able to invest in other people that way. And very genuine. It's not like, you know, I am doing this because this is my job, but like, I really care about you and want to see how I can help you out. So there are definitely plenty of opportunities in the church to see how that would play out. And
huge.
You know, and you do not have to wait for an official position. You know,
this is one you can do all the time, no matter what.
Like, if you see somebody you don't recognize in the sanctuary, you are allowed to greet them. You are allowed to say hi and to introduce yourself. And if you have that gift, we would love for you to use it. And we might hand you a card that you can give to somebody.
You know, one of the cool things that's happening in Johnstown, and Nick shared this with me this week, is that I had a couple of visitors on Sunday, and they wrote an email back and mentioned how welcome they felt. So there's people up there, well, whether they have the gift of hospitality or not, they're caring and inviting and that kind of stuff. I'm sure some of them have that, but it's just really cool to see, because she said, I haven't been in church in a long time, and it was just great to be in there and be in worship and just to feel like I was around people who cared. And that's huge, because what it does is just lowers the defenses that people put up and allows them to hear the gospel, and allows God to work in their life way easier and way better. So it's huge, very important.
All right, well, we're going to leave it there for today, and just want you to know that you can go online. If you haven't done your spiritual gifts test, we're going to go ahead and put a link to that in the show notes, so that all this discussion we're having will be even more meaningful to you. And once you have done those results, you know, forward them to Pastor Rob, and maybe we'll have the opportunity to see where you can get plugged in, whether it's inside the church or outside the church, to be able to see those gifts come to fruition. Stay in touch with everything that's going on in the church at shepnaz.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. For Pastor Rob, I'm Joe. Have a great day. This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gahanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.